Good morning. We all have a story to tell, at least one story, if not more. Maybe the story of how we got here, the story we know that can help others, or the story that we've always wanted to tell. The story encloses us in a world. We discover that world and we learn things. Often one of the things that we learn is that we are not alone. As a writing teacher, I taught my students to write down their stories. It is true that if you write down your story and hold it up to the light, you will experience it differently. I often think of the quote from the Gospel of Thomas in the Gnostic Gospels. If you bring forth what is within you, and what you bring forth will save you. If you do not bring forth what is within you, what you do not bring forth will destroy you. I'll repeat that. If you bring forth what is within you, what you bring forth will save you. If you do not bring forth what is within you, what you do not bring forth will destroy you. This saying is attributed to Jesus. Some say this is heresy, which makes me think there is something to it. Regardless, I encourage you to think of myth and to recreate yourself with it. It may be a myth that you remember from childhood. It could be the story of the tooth fairy or a Bible verse. It could be any story that helps you get through life. I encourage you to be positive and to be strong in your story. As a working writer, I often think of my life as aligned with the myth of Sisyphus. This is a story in Greek mythology of a man rolling a boulder up a hill. According to this myth, Sisyphus received a punishment in the underworld, condemning him to roll a boulder to the mountaintop, only to have the boulder roll back down again. There are a few variations, but for the most part, the myth fits me, except in my case, a woman is rolling the boulder up the mountain. Perhaps this is my way of remembering that good things come to those who never give up. When you include myth in your story, you can rewrite that myth or put yourself into an existing myth. You may find yourself feeling larger and stronger. Telling our story helps us define ourselves. As the late poet Audre Lorde said, if I didn't define myself for myself, I would be crunched into other people's fantasies for me and eaten alive. Writing your story requires listening. Listen to the silence. When all is quiet, listen to the voice inside of you and write down what it says. If you like, you'll have a chance to share your story with us this month during our month of story. Since we don't have time for you to write during the service, jot down a few ideas after this, and if you feel like it, return to your ideas later. We'll have some music after this for about 5 minutes, so you can reflect on your story and write if you choose to. Think about your favorite myth. Who is the character in the myth that you relate to the most? Maybe the myth doesn't work for you. Maybe the myth irritates you. You're invited to rewrite the myth. If myth doesn't work for you, you can write a story that doesn't include myth. Maybe you would like to write the story of how you got your name or of how you got here. Remember, we all have a story to tell. Namaste.